Hey, everybody, welcome. This is the second show of today. Actually, we've done 800 and something episodes, but for those that are watching live, we call this a double Lovity Day because we just did a show 2 hours ago with a fabulous guest that came in, and this is our second show, and we absolutely love it because we get a chance to spend some more time with all of you. Welcome to what we call the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation and style with light, love, levity, and our famous levity, with guests coming in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, sports, and inspiration, and everything in between. And we always have a wonderful and grand time with all of you. It's always a pleasure when you're here, when you're commenting, when you're celebrating life and all kinds of incredible things that we touch upon here on our show. We do entertainment. Again, we do comedy, we do inspiration, we do literally everything. And that's what's great about it. You know, it's sort of like the old school talk shows. We always mention this in the beginning because sometimes, and a lot of times, there's all kinds of new folks that are tuning in from around the world because we have an international audience. We welcome everybody right now who's watching from the USA, as well as Canada and Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, New Zealand. And we have a legions of fans who watch in South America too, Argentina, Venezuela, and Peru, and other beautiful countries. So wherever you're watching around the world, we welcome you. We have folks that are in Sweden and Finland and Norway and Ireland and England and Japan and South Africa and Italy and Greece and all across the good old USA, which is where our show comes from, here in the New York area. Hope you're having a good day. We had a show earlier. If you missed it, it's all archived because we archive all of our episodes here at the Jim Masters Show, all on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. All the episodes you enjoy, give them a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and leave a comment. And we have our JMS Live Lovity chat room open right now. What's the JMS Live Lovity chat room? You can actually chat right now with other viewers, Lovity viewers, who are subscribers to the channel. The subscribe doesn't cost anything to do that. If you subscribe, it doesn't cost a dime to subscribe to our channel. I don't know why they call it that, because it makes people think you have to subscribe and pay for something. But no, that is free. You just hit that red button that says subscribe. But when you do, you know what happens? You have the opportunity to enter into our JMS Live Lovity chat room, and you can chat amongst and say hello to other viewers here right now while the show is on. And we might even sprinkle a comment or two right here on the bottom of our screen while the show is live. That happens when the show is live. If you're watching this archived, well, just enjoy the show. That's why it's here. And again, we archive hundreds and hundreds. All the shows are archived, hundreds of them now. Approaching, soon it'll be 1,000 before we know it. We're over 800 now, which I just absolutely cannot believe. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. I invite you to connect, say hello, and, chime in. That's what we love to do here on the show as well. Gang, we've got an amazing guest. Thanks for all the comments. We've got a lot of comments coming in here from our lovely viewers and from new viewers. If you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you to sit back and enjoy the experience. If you want to comment, feel free to do that as well. We have Shanda Tripp here, Pastor Shanda Tripp, author of She Was Healed and founder of this beautiful organization called Love from Music City. And she and her husband, Robb, Grammy-winning producer Robb Tripp, had an opportunity to pull all their resources together, all their love for people, and really found something so beautiful that does such incredible work for so many. We're going to talk. We've got some wonderful photos here that we're going to show you about the organization. There's also a spectacular gala, and Queen of Blues, Rhonda Vincent, is going to be celebrated at that gala, and that's going to be absolutely amazing. I want to tell you just a little bit about Shanda herself. Of course, she created this fabulous organization, and there you see it on the screen, loving the orphan, caring for the lame, feeding the hungry. It's really a beautiful thing, when people give back in the way that Shanda does and her family does. There is this very special gala that's coming up. Their 6th annual gala. It's an evening of music and entertainment, surprises, supports foster kids through the Middle Tennessee nationally and orphans abroad as well, which I think is beautiful. The evening, November 3rd, 7 to 8:30, featuring a celebrity red carpet followed by hors d'oeuvres and silent auction, live music performances, and the queen of bluegrass and opera star Rhonda Vincent is receiving this year's Bill Anderson Icon Award, stated by Love from Music City founder Shanda Tripp, who's with us. And that's a beautiful thing that's happening as well. We're going to talk about all that here. Also, in addition, as I mentioned, she is releasing a fantastic book. And it's kind of an exclusive what's happening here on the show. She was just telling me moments ago because the details of the book have not necessarily fully been released. And it's going to be a very, very touching, moving book that I think is going to touch your heart and soul. It's called She Was Healed. And it is Shanda really talking about life and loss, death and despair, hope, healing on many different levels that she personally shares. These are stories that have never been told before. And she's going to be talking about that. And She Was Healed, which I think is absolutely a beautiful thing as well. As I mentioned, Pastor Tripp, founder of the 501c3 nonprofit Love from Music City. And we're going to talk about all the incredible work that they do, really, to provide positive vibes, but real help to those in need in so many different categories. Now, the book, She Was Healed, contributing to that is her mother-in-law, Edith Tripp, Robb's mom, who was a gospel music pioneer. She had passed away this year. And also, Shanda's daughter, Hannah, has participated in the book as well. Pastor Tripp has a great passion for helping women understand they can overcome challenges and traumas in their life with the love and healing of Jesus Christ. And she has witnessed hurting and battered and broken women from every walk of life throughout her lifelong passion and mission work, which is beautiful. She Was Healed is filled with stories of 3 generations of women overcoming unimaginable obstacles and heartaches that have been shared, which is really fantastic. I do want to let you know, too, just a little bit of the incredible background. In 2000, Pastor Tripp, Shanda, married into the Tripp family, one of the most famous Christian television and gospel music families ever. And her mother-in-law, for the first time, graciously agreed to join her in telling of her stories to help other women on the road to healing and recovery. Her late husband, of course, was the Grammy-winning and incredible Robb Tripp, and pastor as well. And their wonderful family. There's a wonderful shot of the family as well. Again, just giving you a little background here on our illustrious guest. Her late husband, Robb Tripp, was a Grammy Award-winning producer, musician, and together they founded a church in Tennessee. In addition, Shanda had founded Love from Music City, which is a non-religious nonprofit. The organization was birthed out of a 50-year missionary legacy she had from her parents. The focus is homeless children, Vietnam veterans, orphans, both locally and in the orphanage in Haiti as well. And she founded and also co-hosted Girl Sessions, which is a Love from Music City weekly show that airs on Destiny Television Network, social media on demand, Roku as well. We'll talk about all this and more, but just giving you a little bit of the extraordinary background. There are Shanda and, of course, Robb, who's an extraordinary producer. There's one of the albums, too. This one is Heritage. Beautiful, beautiful music on there that's very inspiring. And, of course, there is Robb. And we're going to talk about all these fabulous photos and all kinds of cool things as we welcome, again, our very, very special guest, founder of Love from Music City, Shanda Tripp, to the Jim Master Show Live. Thanks for the comments, gang. I see a lot of comments built up here. This is really, really beautiful. So keep them coming. We'll check them out. We'll show maybe a couple on the screen. But join me in welcoming from Nashville, Tennessee, Shanda Tripp. Pastor Tripp, welcome to the...
Hi, my goodness, what an introduction. And those pictures, all that is fabulous. Thank you so much. What a joy to be here today.
The pleasure is all mine. I really, really appreciate your taking the time, and congratulations on this wonderful gala, the book,
Thank
and
you.
the
Thank you.
beauty and depth of this fabulous organization, this wonderful nonprofit you created, Love from Music City. Let's talk about that right off the top because
All right.
it's such an incredible thing. What was the inspiration really for creating Love from Music City? And tell us about some of the extraordinary work that you do, Pastor.
Well, number one, thank you so much for having me here today. And it's
My
been a
pleasure.
pleasure to already just get to visit with you. And thank you for the work that you're doing. My goodness, this many shows. And this is the second one today. And you're on PBS and CBS. You're a busy guy. So I'm honored to get to speak with you today. So I was raised on the mission field. My parents were missionaries. Goodness, about 20 years before I was born. And so I was born into that legacy. And we were missionaries to Mexico and to Haiti. And so that was kind of like the family business. And that's really all I ever knew. And when I was really young, I had one desire, and that was to not do what my parents did, the
Right.
traveling, and always, you would travel around and get connected to people and then have to pick up and leave. So that, I had that desire, but then as I got older, I started thinking about how I would do what they did, but I would do it better or maybe more organized, or, how I wish dad would do this or mom would do that. So I recognized early in life that I would continue the missionary work. And so then fast forward, I married my husband in 2000. And you already mentioned it. We founded our church, the Fireplace Fellowship in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And then my mom had already gone on to heaven. And let me see, she died like 2003. So my dad was still carrying on. So I started helping my dad a lot, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, sure.
And then when my dad finally went on to be with the Lord, it was just kind of the natural progression for our church and whatnot to continue my parents' amazing work. And that was in Haiti
Yeah.
primarily, of course, Mexico, but in Haiti, there is the orphan problem. It's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and children are starving every day. So in Mexico, the family unit is stronger, and there really isn't the need for orphanages in Mexico like there is in Haiti. So, and also, what the way we said is the doors to Mexico have closed because of the cartels and the danger. It just became very difficult for even my dad to get in his later years. So we focused on Haiti. And then about, let me see, coming on 11 years ago now, we had a desire to help foster children. I don't know, I'm sure maybe you've produced them, but it was one of those just 5 o'clock news stories on a major network about how foster children take their items from house to house in trash bags. And
Yes.
hate
I
to see
know.
those stories. And it
Yes.
just grips your heart. And
Yeah.
so I thought, well, I wonder if we could do anything for local foster care children. And I just want to insert here that orphans are foster care children. Just in America, we don't call them orphans. We call them foster
Right.
care children, but they are
Right.
orphans. They are orphans.
Right.
So I
Because I
had,
think in America, when what comes to mind first probably is when you think of orphan, you think of almost like this little infant in a crib. That's sort of
yeah,
like the mindset. But foster children are orphans,
are
like you said.
orphans. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't really connect those dots. And
No.
I'm all for not calling them orphans, but I think
Right.
our society needs to own the fact that they are orphans. So I tried to reach out to our local DCS, and at that time it was through our church, and because of it was through the church, we got a big fat no because they said separation of church and state. I don't know
Mm,
if we got a hold of the wrong person or whatever. All I was wanting to do is help them get some bags and some toys. So,
right.
but to be honest, I was thankful. I was relieved because I felt like I had done my good deed. We had tried, couldn't do it. So, hallelujah. That was basically like, I had been a good citizen. So, just a short time after that, it was through some crazy circumstances, but someone that I was affiliated with became friends with someone who was over an entity called Camelot. And Camelot is a subsidiary who they get children from DCS and they place them into homes.
Mm.
So maybe you're familiar. There's youth villages, there's all kinds of different
Yeah.
entities who
Fabulous.
help. Yes. So Camelot was the first person 11 years ago, first entity that allowed us to help with Christmas. And they laughed like, what? Separation Church of State? No, of course we'll take your help, So I sincerely don't know what had happened at that first juncture, but it was 11 years ago. And I think we helped 60 foster kids, maybe something like that.
Mm.
And 11 years later, fast forward, Sumner County, that's the county that I live in, Sumner County called me personally, and I had a meeting with the most high up people in our county, and they asked us if we would be willing to be the Christmas provider for all of DCS in Sumner County, and we gladly accepted that. So we went from being told no from the county, from the state, to being asked if we would provide Christmas. So we were the exclusive Christmas provider for all of Sumner County last year. So I was very honored at that, and that's how far we've come.
That is so
So that gives you
beautiful.
just a little bit of how we got started.
But it's so beautiful how you got started, and this has grown out of your love also for people and for connecting, because you and of course your husband Rob, beloved pastors for so many years, and everything I think grows out of that understanding of love of God and faith and family and people in general, and wanting to help them heal and inspire them and empower them. So it's so apropos that you would be doing something and have created something like Love from Music City, because even before you officially created that nonprofit, you've been offering love from Music City for many
Exactly.
years through the
Yeah.
church and through all of your blood, sweat, and tears and toil and work. Tell us in the beginning a little bit. We step back even before the organization was created. How did you and Pastor Rob meet?
And for starters, you don't have to call us pastor. It's all right. My husband was a drummer and producer, and which is, the main business here in Nashville. And I worked with for a record company, and I had moved to town, was working with a record company, and we hired him to play drums
Wow.
on our projects. So I actually met him in the studio, which is kind of funny because everybody thinks we met in church, and no, we didn't. We actually met in the studio.
In the actual studio. So
Yep.
music brought you together.
Music brought us together. That's right. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. You're showing some pictures of him. My sweet
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah. He passed in 2021.
He passed away. Yeah. We're not even at a year yet.
No.
He stepped on a screw in a box store parking lot in February. And it was actually on a Saturday, and he had come to I was at the church, and he very calmly, he came into the foyer. Of course, no one else was here. And usually on Saturdays, we were just up here cleaning, whatever, getting ready, getting organized, whatever for the next day.
Yeah.
And he calmly calls my name, and he was sitting behind our visitor center area we have. And he was so calm. And I was actually in the middle of doing something. I was a little bit annoyed, actually.
Yeah.
And he
He
was like, come here. He wouldn't tell me what he needed. And I stepped to the visitor center, and when I looked over, the floor was full of blood, and I about passed out. And I grabbed the visitor center, and I'm like, do I call 911? I'm not good with blood. But anyways, his shoe had filled up with blood from the box store to the church, which is just a little bit down the street. And so when he got to the church and sat down, he took off his shoe, and blood went everywhere. And that's when he called me. I didn't know if he had a foot. It was like, there was just so much blood. So, got that taken care of and thought it was nothing. He actually called his doctor, and the doctor said, put pressure on it. If it stops, just come in Monday. If you can't quit bleeding, go to the emergency room. Well, it stopped bleeding, even though it bled a lot, it stopped. And he actually didn't even go to the doctor on Monday because it had dried up so much. It was like nothing. And that was a huge mistake. That was in February. And in May, he had to have emergency surgery because he had had infection set up in his body that whole time. Then we have the emergency surgery. We think he's going to recover, but that was just basically the beginning of the end. He was never infection free from that time on, is what I now know. Even though he was going to a doctor every single Monday, everybody missed it. And eventually, on November the 9th, he went into cardiac arrest from infection in his body. Many of you know it as sepsis. Well, I didn't understand. I didn't know what sepsis was. I didn't understand it. And he had just had his heart checked. He had no blockages, all of that stuff. So
Everything
how
fantastic.
in the world would he go into cardiac arrest? Well, infection works on your major organs and weakens them, which
Yeah.
is your brain, your kidneys, your heart, and your liver. And so
Yeah.
that's what had weakened from February all the way to November. That's what had been going on. He was in the hospital for 30 days. We prayed, we stood, all of that. So 30 days of just standing and believing that he was going to come up and be totally healed. And what I believe personally, what I believe happened, I believe he chose to go be with the Lord. I think he was kind of hanging back and forth in between. I believe that he heard the doctors and he was aware of the kind of rehabilitation they were saying he was looking at. And he definitely got better. His brain scans got better. He got more responsive. But I just believe he chose to just go on. My husband was the absolute best at everything he did. Drummer, producer, pastor, preacher, singer. And I don't think he would want to be in need of rehabilitation for even a day. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
sure you're
Right.
probably a
Right.
perfectionist at some level as well. If
You
you're
want
good
to
at what you do, which
operate
you
at,
are. Yeah,
thank you. You want to operate at optimal
exactly.
levels and right, exactly. And life throws these crazy things at us sometimes. How did you and the kids and the family work through it, and how are you working through it? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a
That's it.
forever situation. What are some things? Of course, having the strong faith is such a rock solid and beautiful foundation. And even sometimes, even at the depths of things, sometimes even people question that
Oh,
too for themselves
100%. Yes.
when they're, how could this happen? Such a wonderful person. Why did this happen? And what are some things, because there might be people watching, there's probably a lot of people watching
A
right now
lot
who
of
are
people
going
watching.
through
Yeah.
things themselves. Uh, how have you been dealing? What are some of the things that have been helping you and the family?
Well, I just, as I sit here, we're not even at the 1 year mark yet. So I just want you to understand, yeah, we're very much working through it. My When my husband went to be with the Lord, I was 48 years old. I've since had a birthday. Our son was 16 years old in high school, and our daughter was 20 years old in college, Bible school. So to say it was not anywhere in my plan, or I don't think it'd be in anyone's plan in your expectancy at all, that would happen. Not to mention, we're very much faith people, believe, and thought he was taking care of himself too. I just want to keep throwing that in there. He went to the doctor every Monday from May until November. So
Yeah.
that's why. So there's lots of questions there. But number one, I had faith before he went in the hospital. And that's why, if you're watching right now, and sadly, probably a lot of people has already been through a lot of trauma. Everybody's been through trauma after 2020, but it matters today. Even if life is good today, you need to be planning in your heart God's word, being around good people, have a community, attend. I would just go ahead and say attend church. We're living in society, in American society right now, we're the lowest church attendance ever, 20%. And we are
Families aren't
also,
even eating together at the same table.
how
The
about
kid
that? Yeah.
the kid takes his food, goes upstairs to that bedroom. The other one takes the food there. This one's here. There's no more of that getting together and that familial feel. One of the reasons why I created this show is to bring us all together again and share and revel in life. And because I love that, I think it's so important. I keep saying kindness and empathy. should never go out of style. Those are essentials in our life. We need to be empathetic and kind and care about one another and be collaborative and creative and support one another and help each other rise up and overcome from the craziness of things that happen in life that you cannot always script,
You know, you
as we've
cannot.
always seen. And I think those are important. And we've sort of gone away from some of that, a lot of that. And it makes the edges rougher than they need to be.
Well, I like to give the illustration of, and I'll ask you this question: when someone breaks the law and kills somebody, I'm not talking about run a red light. Where do they go in American society? Where do we put them?
We put them
Put them
in and then they
in.
come right out.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But
Yeah.
we put them in jail, right, or prison.
Yeah.
And then once they're in prison, if they are a bad inmate, and let's say they do some more bad stuff in there, the only thing left to do to them in America is they put them in solitary confinement, right?
That's right.
And yet, our society, we put ourselves in solitary confinement. And that's the worst thing that we do when people have been to punish them according to law, you understand, is we put them in solitary confinement. And yet we put ourselves in solitary confinement all the time. We were not born to be alone. Our structure, our DNA, our mental capabilities are all designed to need each other. We need relationship. We need conversation. We need familiarity. You just said a lot of these things. And yet we're living in a society that's more separated than ever. So I'm just submitting, before you're in a crisis, you need to find your community. You need to find your church. You need to find a local body of believers who believes what you believe, or maybe you want to start believing what they believe, but you need people, and people need you. And for me and my family, it has been the people. I'll just be honest. I now realize I was kind of jaded towards people. I hate to admit that, but being raised in the people business and being in the people business, people will hurt you, leave you, talk about you. You probably can add to the list. They will run you down. You try to help them, they stab you in the back. Usually the people you love the most hurt you the most. All of that.
You know where you hear that a lot? Talk to anybody that works in customer service anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the truth.
They went in loving people, and then because of all the stuff they hear and that happens to them all day long, they end up not too fond of
exactly.
two-legged
But I have
preachers.
learned that I need people, and it's been the people around me that have helped me and my children make it this far. It was the people, and the people that my husband left us with, so to speak. We were surrounded by, because my husband had been so integrable. My husband had been, just a high level thinker and leader, that his friends, his comrades, the people he worked with, they have remained loyal to him, even though he's not here. And so I cannot tell you the value of people. Will people hurt you? 100%. But do you need them to make it in life? 1,000%.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to be connected to somebody. So I had done that. And then, of course, my faith in Jesus. Have I questioned? So many times. So this is just, I'll share this with you very quickly. I can go through the whys. I can go through, okay, if he chose it, why did he chose it? Why? Okay, well, if I seen Jesus, I just got to be honest. If I'm looking at God or heaven or the gates, I'm not sure what you see, or light or whatever. In comparison to this world, we'd probably all choose it, just to be honest, right? So I have to give him that. But you can go around and round like a crazy person. And my answer is always the same. I'm sitting here right now, and I don't have a choice. I cannot change one thing in the past. I can't fix it. I can't change it. The only thing I can do is decide, for this moment right here, I'm going to live. Exactly. And my children deserve to have a parent that's alive, not one who's deceased and one who is dead, just not buried yet.
Right.
Which a lot of people live that way. You already died. You already.
That's so true. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No, we didn't hear anything. Did something
Like you
happen
said.
on your was it
I
a
had
little
Siri
ding?
talk to me. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, Siri's
So
talking to
I
you?
just want to I
Yeah, we
can't
didn't hear
emphasize
it.
enough.
It muted.
Good, good, good. I just can't tell you enough how important people are.
Yes, absolutely. Talk about the book too. She was healed, and congratulations on that. This is your first of
My
what I'm
first book.
sure will be many. Had you always wanted to write a book? Was there a lot stored up in you over the years, or was it something that a lot of these life events sort of triggered? What was the inspiration for writing She Was Healed? And tell us about it. And congratulations.
Thank you. There's that's kind of a twofold answer. I have a list in my mind right now of books I would like to write, but I also fought this, I guess, discouragement or other side of the voice. Like, there's so many books in the world. Why write another one? And there's so many great authors. Why, why throw your hat in the ring, so to speak? But I'll just give a shout out to Mary Jackson. She was my ghost writer. She's written several books herself. She was very encouraging to me. And my husband, of course, was very encouraging. He was always saying how I need to write a book. So pretty much because of those two people, I decided to go ahead, and Mary Jackson said she would help me. And she did. She did an amazing job. But I had talked to my mother-in-law for, goodness, a few years about, let's all write a book together, 3 generations of women, as Hannah, by the time she was about 16, we could tell she has a special gift to write. And so we talked about it. And one day I was driving down the road, and the idea of She Was Healed hit my mind. And I actually called my mother-in-law at the moment. I said, hey, I think I have a title for our book. And I told her, and she was very encouraging, as she always was. She was amazing. But in Luke chapter 8 in the Bible, there's a story of the woman with the issue of blood who she made a decision, and because she had heard that Jesus was coming, and she decided to press her way through every obstacle to get to her desired result. And the Bible says those 3 words, she was healed, after she had touched the hem of his garment. And that's the only time in the Bible that those 3 words are said, she was healed. So in comparison to my life, and actually I would never dream that it would be prophetic of my own life, because the book was actually written and at the publisher before my husband went into the hospital. So my husband died in December, and 72 days later, my mother-in-law died as well. So,
Do you think she passed of a broken heart?
I think she decided to just lay down and go be with him. She was a fighter. She was diagnosed with a disease called sarcoidosis. Is it Bernie Mac? Yeah, Bernie Mac, the comedian, he died of that disease. I think it was 53. Well, she had the same disease, and she was given a year to live 18 years ago. And
God
she's
bless her.
tough woman, strong in the Lord, but just strong.
Yeah.
And I just believe she quit fighting. Like, I believe she had to nurse herself, take vitamins. She was always making sure to keep her immune system up and all of that. Well, I just think once her son went to be with the Lord, she decided to go as well. She had already accomplished everything she wanted to do. She had raised her children, her grandchildren, lived to see some of her great grandchildren, had blessed the world literally. And so I think she just went home to be with the Lord and her son. And I don't blame her. I really don't.
No,
I don't. But people ask all the time why she died or how she died. And sincerely, that's it. She just laid down. There was no hospital. There was none of that. So.
The book has never before told stories of life and love and death and despair and hope and healing. Tell us about that. What was the process like of assembling all of that and putting it together?
A big job. Let me tell you. Have you ever written a book?
I'm actually in the process of one right now. Yeah. About a journey that I took after I was on a television shoot, and I was in Nevada. We were talking about different names, and I'd say that here in the Northeast or the East Coast, we'd probably say Nevada, but it's Nevada.
We say Nevada down here in the South, yeah.
And I was in Pahrump, Nevada, and I was driving alone. Well, the shoot had ended, everybody dispersed, and I still had the rental car for another day, and I somehow thrust myself into a place I would never have thrust myself into alone, in August in Nevada, and that's Death Valley. and I
Mm.
drove alone through it in the heat of an August summer with nobody knowing I was going to do it. Nobody had any idea I was doing it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't have all the provisions, the water, the charged up cell phone, the food. Didn't have any of that in this rental car. The only thing I knew about the rental car was the make and model. And uh, um, condense it quick because some of the audience has heard it, but I kept driving through this Pahrump, Nevada, where the shoot was, the TV shoot. And the car, it's as if the energy of the car kept pulling me for some reason
Mm.
to the entrance to Death Valley, which is not like an entrance to an amusement park with lights and cotton candy.
Right,
It's
right,
a
right.
big sign with an arrow. There it is. And you
Mhm.
look and you think you're watching an old Western. You see the humidity sort of flowing off the road, and one road that just goes into the desert forever, and who knows where it goes. And there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in it too, and it's vast, and the weather changes, and it's just really, but it's absolutely awesomely beautiful from a natural and nature perspective. So I drove in, or something thrust me in. Never would have done that unscripted, never would have not told anybody. And the immediate sensation that I had was guilt. And a lot of people are like, guilt? Well, why do you have guilt driving into Death Valley in a rental car? What would that be about? And I said, it's because I have put this place on a pedestal as
Mhm.
a vast place. It's Death Valley. You always hear about it. You see it in films and TV and everything else. And if I'm going to come to a place like this, it would have to be with loved ones, with family and friends, because I love to facilitate joy. I love to create joy. I like to assure joy for others. It's probably why I'm a host, presenter, personality.
Right,
I
right.
like to be the one where everybody's in my car and they're giggling and laughing and taking pictures, and I'm feeding off their energy and their joy. Well, this was so ad hoc and ad libbed that no family was in this area. They couldn't get on planes fast enough to get to Nevada, to Death Valley. But yet I was feeling the guilt that I wasn't sharing what I was seeing
No.
visually and feeling with the family. And suddenly I felt three extraordinary energies um, arise. And that first was the energy of the fact that I'm on an earth. I felt the energy of the actual earth, because when you're in the desert, it's raw terrain, it's dirt. There's no cities, there's no gardens, there's no ocean, there's nothing green grass covering over it. It's the dust of the earth. So I felt the energy of the earth. I also felt that I was surrounded by the energy of Mother Nature, being in such a vast place with nature all around. And I felt the energy of divine guiding me. And all three gave me the option of either turning the car back and going back to the hotel and just waiting out until tomorrow when we return the car and fly out of Las Vegas back to the East Coast, or keep going and see what happens and trust in these energies that you're feeling to guide you. Um, Now, if we took a picture, there would only be you in the car. So you're not necessarily seeing us, but you're feeling our energy. And you can either turn back and maybe one day come here again with the loved ones and friends. Who knows if you'll ever really do that, have this opportunity to do it, or you can keep going. And I elected to keep going. And the further I went in, it was very liberating. That self-imposed, no family or friends ever imposed that, but that self-imposed guilt of, ah, why isn't, mom with me? Why isn't the family here and seeing why do I get to see this? No, no, no. It's better if I have everybody here because I want to hear the joy and everything. And so drove all the way through, drove all the way back, shortening the story. But a couple of people say, well, what did that, first of all, why'd you do it in August? I said, well, it wasn't planned. And then, what did you get out of doing that? And I said, well, it was visually stunning and beautiful. I saw four rainbows come out of the sky all at the same time, bounce off the top of a mountain, it made it look like a volcanic explosion of copper. It was just the stunning stuff you see. And three big things that I realized, which were life changing, just taking a rental car into Death Valley. One was that there will be experiences that'll happen sometimes to me and to each of us where we are the only ones in the room at the time. You couldn't get and round up the troops fast enough to be there to experience it with you. because it might be fleeting. It might be right then and there. You see a meteor go through, a shooting star, and you're the only one who saw it. It's a gift. These are gifts. This is your gift. This is something that's been gifted you. You can either look away or you can really absorb it. So there are these times where there's experiences that are meant just for you, and that's perfectly fine, and that's great. Second is that, and whenever I've been on planes, whenever I hear the flight attendant say, when the oxygen mask drops, you've got to put it on yourself first before
Right.
you help thy neighbor. I was never raised that way. We were raised, help thy fellow neighbor, help thy fellow man, you know, community, team, all of that. Don't grab it. Don't slice the birthday cake and take your piece first. And then, I always give everybody else theirs and then mine is last. Well, now I understand that in order to have the oxygen to help others, to help the
Mhm.
person next to you in the seat, you've got to have that mask on you first. They have to
Right.
have the mask on them. So now I'm on planes, and I'd say about 10% of me still cringes a little bit, like, then I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I understand. That's how it operates. Third, that the world will continue to spin on its axis, whether I continue to rescue it from itself all the time. If I've had to create some boundaries, and that was something I never really did or had, and was just never didn't do it. Now I love that I've done it, and that's so important because if you're always trying to save the world and save everybody and run over with the bucket of water to help put out their fire, when you have a flame in front of you, you got to put your flame out first and then take the bucket of water and run over to help them.
That's right.
Those three things, the understanding that there will be gifts of experiences, sometimes that'll just be mine, the oxygen mask, and the boundaries, and realizing that the world will continue spinning, whether you constantly put out all the fires that it has, were three life-changing things that happened driving alone ad hoc in a rental car in Nevada after a TV shoot. And there's more to it, but people have been telling me, you got to write a book about that, because when you describe it, I feel like I didn't need to be in the car with you. I feel like I'm in the car with you the way you describe it,
Wow.
with those three energies of divine, earth, and Mother Nature being very strong, being very present during all of that. How's that,
Well,
Pastor?
yeah, writing a book is
I
a
don't always share that
gigantic.
with everybody, but
Well, thank you,
I'm
thank
glad
you.
that
Writing a book is just a huge undertaking. The editing, the editing, the editing, the writing, the writing, the writing.
yes,
Get across what you're trying to
the
say, because when we
rewrites and
speak, it's different than, verbal communication is different than writing, right? But to your point, I just want to say about the oxygen mask, taking care of yourself first, and you had to develop boundaries in your life. That's where I was when my husband went in the hospital. I just want to reiterate that if I had not made sure that I had something in myself to give away, or to cling to, then I wouldn't have made it. So that kind of same point there a little bit. But the book, my mother-in-law was born dead. She has told that story before publicly, but she shares that story in detail. It's an amazing story. And then my daughter and I were we were caught in a tornado in 2006, and it's a whole dramatic thing, but we were in a space about, let me see if you can think, probably about a foot and a half. And we tell that story in it. And my daughter tells a couple of personal experiences. And then my mother-in-law shares some stories that she had never told before publicly, about what she went through when both of her sons, my husband, went through divorces at the same time. And so but all of the stories have the same continuity. And that is, you have to make a decision that you're going to make it. You got to have a goal. 95% of people do not have written goals.
no,
And we wonder if you're playing darts, if you're throwing darts, you got to know where the bullseye is. How you going to know if you're winning
yes,
in life if there's nothing that you're pointing to? So you got to have a direction. You got to have somewhere you're trying to go. Like the woman with the issue of blood, she had made up her mind she was getting to Jesus, and she knew she would be whole. So what do you know? What do you know? That self-talk, low self-esteem, all of that stuff
yeah,
is in there. So that's what the book is about. And a portion of the proceeds of all the sales of the book will go to Love for Music City, because that is my number one passion, and I am wanting to change foster care is really my goal. And I don't really have time to get into that, how my plan is to do it, but there does need to be a change. And I just want to mention very quickly our gala, November the 3rd. There's still just a few tickets left. There's really, really not many. So we'll have all the information maybe in the comments or something. The link, when I share the show, I'll share how you could go to the tickets. But it is November 3rd. Queen of Bluegrass, Rhonda Vincent, Grand Ole Opry member. She will be the Bill Anderson Icon Award recipient this year. Yes, there she is. So amazing. And we're so thankful that she's going to be, and she'll be with us, and she's going to be performing 2 songs that I know of. You never know what will happen. But I also have a little girl from Haiti that I was able to rescue literally from the trash in Haiti. And she was very severely handicapped. And the Lord helped me to, I was just connected to the right people. It's about being connected to somebody. But through another
Yes.
organization, we got her into America. And she's now she's adopted by a doctor. So she went from the trash heap in Haiti to a doctor's home in America. The mom and the dad are both doctors. So she'll be at the gala. She's a huge hit. She's sharp as a tack. She's about 6 years old now. I'm so proud of her. She has prosthetic legs, but she's an amazing little girl. So the gala is just a once in a lifetime experience. So if you can by chance come, we invite you to come. And it is to raise money for Love for Music City and what we're doing.
It's an evening of memories, heartfelt
Yes.
emotions as you raise money again for orphans abroad, foster children throughout the Middle Tennessee area as well as abroad. And I know you've liked to thank all the artists and the sponsors to
Yes,
really put it
yes,
together.
yes.
And I want to let folks know too that throughout even COVID, Love from Music City continued to raise funds, being the sole contributor for food and basic survival needs to the orphanages in Haiti. And that's such a beautiful and powerful thing to do through all of that as well, Shanda.
Well, Jim, you could give to, I'm going to say, the Red Cross or Samaritan's Purse. I mean, there's lots of wonderful organizations, and there are many of us who donate to said organizations. But in our case, we are the organization. So my only option would be to tell the children, sorry, we don't have the money this month, and you're going to have to go back out on the street of Haiti. So I can't do that. It's not in me to do it. And so I didn't have a choice. So what is it? Need is the mother of invention, whatever that is. You got to where there's a will, there's a way. That's another way to say it.
Right.
So we have children in 3 different orphanages, one of which is exclusively for handicapped children. This is all in the greater Port-au-Prince, Haiti area. And we support them every month. Have to pay for them to go to school. There is no public school in Haiti. There's about 3% of Haitians can actually read because there is no public school system. So if a Haitian child goes to school, it is because somebody paid for that child. And I'll just tell you, it's about $500 a year for each child. So you do the math on that. We currently have in our 3 different homes, we have 56 orphans. And I have a waiting list of children who want to come in because of my parents' work. I have debt-free space paid for, but I just need the monthly support to feed them school, clothing, dentists. They're real children. They require shoes, uniforms, all of that. So I have the space. It's just simply an income overhead issue.
And this website here, can go there if they want to learn more about how they can support.
lovefrommusiccity.com.org. Yes, you can find us on all social platforms. We would love for you to get involved. Every dollar makes a difference, and we appreciate your help. And that's what. So we do that in Haiti. We also partner with 10 other orphan sponsoring nations, Ecuador, different countries. We send support to, like I was sharing, other organizations. And then our foster care work that we mainly is in Middle Tennessee, with plans to expand across the entire 50 United States. It is Love from My City Network is what we are developing, so we can do what we're doing in Middle Tennessee all across America.
That is so beautiful. Truly, absolutely beautiful. And it always goes back to the early inspirations in life, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Oh, wow. Y'all really did your homework. That's my
Ah,
precious parents
yeah.
before I was even born. That's probably back in the 60s. I was born in 73. And my
What
parents
are their
paid quite
names?
a price. Don and Mary Lou Jones. See, very normal names. Don and Mary
Yeah.
Lou. And they have a Shanda. So explain that. But, and my last name is Jones. Don Jones is my dad. Mary Lou Jones
I
is
tell
my
you.
mom. So for whatever reason, they named me Shanda, but I'm thankful for my parents. They made a choice and heard the call, is how we would say it, but they made a decision what they were going to do in life and they stuck with it. And we're living in an hour when people quit, give up because it's too
Yes.
hard, too
Right.
long, too slow, too difficult, of which I myself could be in that category, but largely because of my parents and seeing what they did and what they forged through, even with everything I've been through in the last 10 months, I, I'm sticking with it. What else am I going to do? People say to me often, well, you could, retire from the church. You could, frankly, I could go anywhere. I could live in wherever you live. I could move to Florida. As soon as my son gets out of school, I could literally, it's a very
Go anywhere.
strange feeling, but I
It
could
is.
literally do
Right.
anything.
Right.
But my passion is still the same, and I had already determined what my calling in life was. So even though my circumstances have changed severely,
Yeah.
my gifts and callings and potential has not. So there's,
You
it'd be
probably
fun to
knew.
lay on the beach for a day, right? A
Yeah.
week. It'd probably get real
Yeah.
boring after
Right.
that.
Yeah. You love people and right. And you it's in your DNA and the essence of who you are to lift others and to inspire us. Because as we lift others, we are lifted too.
Get lifted up. That's
And
it.
some people don't realize that. And that's not why we should do what we do, but it's just part of the way, the earth turns, that just happens. And I think it's something that's been in you for a long time from the very beginning.
I believe it. Yeah, there I am in Haiti. That's at the airport in Haiti. I think I'm about 2 years old. I was 3 months old the first time my parents took me to Haiti, which is crazy. That's another show. But why you take a 3-month-old baby to Haiti? But yes, it's been in me a long time. And I just want to end with saying some people call it karma. And
Yeah.
some people we call it in the church sowing and reaping, but it
Yes.
is more blessed to give than to receive. It is. And at our foster care parties, our foster care events, people like they're floating. It's like they're usually I'll go around and chat with our superstar volunteers and they're crying. I'll be like, why are you crying? I'm just so happy. Well, they're
Yes.
giving. They're helping somebody that cannot help them back. They have
Yeah.
officially become unselfish. And there is a
Exactly.
joy in that will keep you going. So wherever you are, I know a lot of how many of our friends in Florida need volunteers right
Oh,
now, need help.
yes.
So we need to, if you're anywhere where you can go and serve somebody, I encourage you, it will get you out of depression. It will get you out of the isolation that literally will make you crazy if you stay isolated. There
That's
is a
right.
blessing. There's mental health healing when you help somebody else.
Tell us about this beautiful photo.
Oh
Trifecta
my
of love.
goodness,
This is
isn't it? That's my
trifecta
mother-in-law.
of levity.
Yeah, isn't it? Lovety, there you go. That's my beautiful mother-in-law, Edith Tripp. That's my daughter, Hannah Tripp. And of course, that's myself. And, I remember when we were shooting those pictures just last September, I think it was. And by the way, award-winning photographer Adrian Payne shot those for us. But
Beautiful.
um, I said to Hannah, like during that, like, Hannah, someday you're going to look back on this and see how thankful you should be, having
You
no
look like
idea.
sisters.
I
God,
wish, yeah.
you guys
But
look
having
like
no
sisters.
idea her daddy would be in the hospital with cardiac arrest in a month, and her grandmother and father would be gone within 3 months of that photo. So I still cannot believe. And my mother-in-law had such an urgency about finishing the book and her contribution to it. And so looking back on that, I'm just
I bet
astounded.
your congregation was very loving and supportive too
Oh
through
my
it all,
goodness.
huh?
They are the best. The Fireplace Fellowship has the best people. Oh, that's the part that can get me choked up. They are
There's the
the best.
website for the Fireplace Fellowship as well.
Yes, come and
Quickly,
see
maybe
us.
you can slip in a little bit about the work that happens there as well, because that's beautiful.
We are a non-denominational church. We got the best music in town because they're all studio musicians, if you know what that is, like the
Oh,
best. Because
yeah.
my husband was the best, and they we're all his
There's
friends, and
session musicians and
yes,
yeah.
so we're very blessed at the fireplace, and we made a decision to keep going. Everybody kept asking me if I was going to leave, if I'm going to quit, if I'm going to close the church, because Rob and I had founded it. But as of this day, we're going forward, and I have found that there's a lot of people who are living in circumstances you never thought you would be in. Well, this is
Yes.
the church for you, because we never thought we would be in this circumstance. We faced the worst of trials, but we're determined to go forward. So we're stronger for it. And our body of believers here is just an astounding group of people. So if you're anywhere in the Middle Tennessee area, we invite you to come be a part. We're on the north side of the Nashville area, Hendersonville. Come on
What
over,
do,
the Fireplace Fellowship.
it's a beautiful place and a beautiful vision that you have. What is your vision and hope going forward for Love from Music City?
Well, I shared with you just a second ago, but I'm determined to change foster care. We all
Yeah.
have this
Yeah.
misconception that the government is going to solve it. Well, if it could, it would have already done it. And the government does throw a lot of money at it. I applaud the government for making it the priority it has, but it will never get the job done because money won't solve the problem. Where I live right here in Sumner County, greater Nashville or downtown Nashville is Davidson County. Well, tonight there will be children sleeping on the conference tables in the DCS facilities. I dare say probably where you live, certainly almost across every county in America, that's how awful the problem has
The
become.
homeless crisis is
The homeless crisis,
extraordinary.
the mental health crisis, and the foster care crisis. But the foster care crisis will never be solved until the drugs and alcohol problem is solved. And that went through the roof during COVID. So the intake of foster care children has zoomed. And by law, a DCS worker should only have 20 cases or children that they take care of. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
In Middle Tennessee right now, our DCS workers have up to 80 cases. They are so overloaded, and it's a pandemic. It's a crisis. So my dad used to say, so if you say somebody needs to do something, usually that somebody is you.
Is
So
you right?
it's you. Yes.
I tell
So we're
you,
trying to step up and help.
and it's absolutely beautiful, and you're surrounded by this energy of love, or as we say, levity, and this desire through it all to still connect with people, even through trials and tribulations that you've had and the family's had in your own life. You're still there. You're still, you've written this book. You've got this wonderful gala coming up. The church is still thriving and going. You have Love from Music City. Like you say, you could easily be in Florida with your
Easily.
feet in the sand in South
Yes.
Beach, swinging from a hammock, looking out towards
Mhm.
the warm Atlantic. But
And nobody would blame me.
which once in a while isn't bad to do. So make sure you
Yes.
do that. Make sure you do
If
that.
anybody's
But
watching and you want to,
yeah,
give
yeah.
me a week at your condo,
Get
I'm open
get
to
that
that too.
hammock ready, right?
Right.
Fluff those
Mhm.
pillows. But overall, the essence of you is still to be what you've been, which is this person who really cares and who is loving and a very understanding, faith-based person who really loves the Lord, loves family, and looks for ways to connect us all and in an empathetic and long-lasting way through all of these things that you do, that you're still doing, which I know are also, especially at this time, cathartic and therapeutic as well,
Yes.
but also inspiring for others who are going through things. And there is, don't always believe everything you see on social media, where everything looks like that person never has anything happening in their
Isn't
life.
that the truth?
That's
Yeah.
that's all, polished Instagram photos and stuff like that.
Right. That's right.
Everybody has something, and this is really amazing work. And I was very excited to have you come on,
Well, thank you
Shanda,
so much.
because I
I
love
appreciate it.
people who do what you do, what your husband devoted his life to, your family. Um, it really is God's work on so many levels. And we pre-congratulate the extraordinary Rhonda Vincent for the award and
Yes.
her
Yes.
incredible career in bluegrass and so much more. She is a spectacular artist, and
Yes.
That's a fabulous situation too for
Yes.
her. Congratulations. If they want to learn more, is it going to right to the website, lovefrommusiccity.com?
Lovefrommusiccity.com or .org, and we do have a little the Facebook event thing. You can get easy information there. I think people like Facebook as much as going to the website these days, but you
Right.
can
Yeah.
go there. And so and my book will actually drop November the 4th, if I didn't share that. So it's not even out yet, but it comes out November the 4th. The gala is November the 3rd, and we're just honored to everyone and thank our sponsors. Thank you, Rhonda Vincent. Thank you, Roger Neal, our publicist. Thank you, everybody who has stepped up and been so generous and kind to us during this season. And we look forward to brighter days ahead.
You're the best. I really appreciate all of this fantastic time. And I wanted to show you something. Puts a smile on everybody's faces. Usually pops in towards the latter part of our episodes. Mr. George Burns is with us.
Oh, okay. All right.
And he said,
he is smoking. I was going to say, is he smoking? But yeah, I see.
I tell you, he can never lose those cigars, it seems,
That's right.
those Havana cigars. He's got his pocket square. My aunt collected dolls, and we did a nostalgic show 2 years ago. And the audience, the Lovedies, fell in love with him. So he pops on, and he said, "You knocked it out of the park tonight, kiddo." He loved the conversation. He was very inspired. He sends his love, and he sends his love from Gracie as well, Mr. George Burns, who played God in the Oh God movies.
Yes, he did.
How apropos.
Way to connect it. Yeah.
See, it's all, got that thinking cap on. When I remember, what was it? Our elementary school teacher in New York, she used to tell us, I don't know if your teacher did this. She used to tell the kid before we stood for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then also America the Beautiful. And then we had a moment of silence. And I used to love that. That could be whatever you wanted it to be. They didn't tell us it had to be this. It was just for that 60-second time after you did Pledge of Allegiance and America the Beautiful, which we all sang, all the kids, everybody sang, the teachers. There was 60 seconds of total silence in the entire building. And I remember that distinctly as a kid in elementary school. And I loved it because I'm a very communal person. So knowing that we're all feeling the same thing generally at the same time with that silence was such a fantastic thing. And then she would say, "Okay, kids, now put your thinking caps on."
Nice.
So that's where that goes back to with the George Burns. Some comments quickly coming in here. Jane's watching in Sweden, one of our lovedies. Thank you, Shanda, for being on the show tonight. You're a lovely person and do so much for people. Thanks, Jim, for an interesting show. My pleasure. Maureen's watching in Arizona, USA. She is a retired nurse. She was on the front lines during this pandemic and all, and she's there in Arizona. Shanda, may God continue to bless you and the work you do in every way. The children are so very lucky to have you. Thank you very much, Maureen. Tony says, great interview. Thank you very much, Tony. It's so nice to have you here, and everybody that's watching. Sherry Larson in Kansas, USA. Thank you, Shanda, for being here with us tonight. You are a true inspiration. God bless you and all you do in the future. Those children are blessed to have you. Just some of the lovedies
so much,
commenting.
isn't it precious?
Yeah, I tell you, that's what we call lovedy. I say there's Oscars, Emmys, Tonys, Tellys, Peabodys, Grammys, but when you get a lovedy on the Jim Masters Show Live, which we are designated, you are already. How does it make you feel? Are your feet tingling? Most people say their
makes
feet
me
are
feel
tingling.
great. Yes, what an honor. What an honor. Well, this has been such a joy. Thank you so much. And I got to see George Burns.
You got George Burns, right? So yeah, I really truly hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Shanda.
Thank you so much. It absolutely did. It's been an honor and a privilege tonight. I hope to talk to you again sometime.
Much blessing and love to you and your family. And we're thinking of you. Stay in touch. We'll keep the porch light on. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much, sir. You have a good evening. Thank you.
You take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Pastor Shanda Tripp, or she says, call me Shanda. Amazing, right? Truly. I knew it would be for you a very inspired episode filled with our famous levity and some humor in there as well. Everybody has a story. And I do want to tell you, there is the website again, Love from Music City. It's an extraordinary organization. Maybe you're learning about it for the first time. Maybe you didn't even know it existed. Because I know a lot of you, like me, love people and organizations and entities that give back, that do beautiful work. And as we mentioned, look at some of the work we were talking about. Just these are just a few. There are many, 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 many more. Look at all the happy faces and all the love and joy there as well. Absolutely spectacular. Also, gang, if you want to know about the extraordinary gala that is coming up, where Queen of Bluegrass, the legendary Rhonda Vincent's going to be hailed and receive the award. You have it on the screen, lovefrommusiccity.com, or you can see .org as well. And also the church, there it is there, the fireplacefellowship.com. Some great websites for you to peruse. I know you guys like to do that as well. She was open, she was real, she was funny, she was authentic, she was engaging. That's Shanda Tripp right here on the Jim Masters Show live. And I'm glad we have an opportunity to facilitate that kind of feeling on our shows with all the entertainment and all the levity and everything else we do. And you got a chance to hear a little snippet of that Death Valley story again as well, which was kind of cool. Some of you heard it for the first time and love sharing that and the various elements that we have. Sherry Larson says, thank you, Jim, for an inspirational show. What an extraordinary lady. I second that emotion. Sherry in Kansas and Jane in Sweden. Shanda is now a levity. Yes, I told her, I always tell the guests before they come on about the whole levity thing, because sometimes, if somebody pops on and they keep hearing that word levity, they might be like, what is that about? What is that? And it's something that just happened to happen. Maureen says, this has been a very humbling conversation. I have the urge to get out and do something to make a difference in even one person's life. That is beautiful. If an episode like this with myself and Shanda Tripp did that for you, Maureen, that's beautiful. And you've been a nurse for years, so you have been making a difference and doing some absolutely beautiful work, for years. Jane also says, thank you, Shanda, for being on the show tonight. Lovely person, do so much for people. And you thank us again for that, the interesting show. You guys are great. We don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later. Cheers. Ciao. Hasta la vista. We say love one another. Take care of one another. And be good to yourself. We also say sayonara. We say moi loop and all the other wonderful things. Slancha and be well and take care. A very special guest, Shanda Tripp. I tell you, she's amazing, isn't she? Shanda Tripp is amazing. And it was a trip having her on the show. She's probably heard that many times over the years. Really, really cool. So Shanda is a blessed soul doing beautiful work. And again, it was really wonderful having her on the show. Author of She Was Healed. Look for the book, Shanda's book, and also founder of Love from Music City. We also talked about her family. If you were not familiar with Robb, her husband, Grammy-winning producer, pastor, and so much more, just Google his name. He was a beloved soul as well, an extraordinary gifted person musically and so much more. And there they are with the children. And she was very open and still, going through the grieving process right now. The fact that she came on our show, she had mentioned that some of what she was saying on the show would be exclusive because she really hasn't talked a lot about the book and some of these other things, but it was beautiful. So if you were inspired by this episode at all, terrific. And like I said, this is an entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series. We do something different. We do something unique all the time for all of you here on the Jim Masters Show live. So we thank Shanda and and we thank all of you. Thanks so much for being with us. Shanda Tripp joining us and all of you. Thanks for all the great comments too. Don't forget, gang, if you would like to comment, do it. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also give us a thumbs up. Like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us grow, reaches more people around the world, millions more around the world. there is the subscribe button you see on our YouTube channel. Click that button. There's no cost. It's easy breezy. And make sure you click the notification bell as well. So that way there, you never miss any of the incredible episodes of the Jim Masters Show live series. Again, we thank the extraordinary founder and CEO of Love from Music City, author She Was Healed, Pastor Shanda Tripp. And really beautiful. There's the church email or website, and there is Love from Music City. If you want to learn more about the gala, the book, everything else that's happening, cool stuff right there for you. All right. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we've got a bevy of amazing guests joining us next week as well, and every day. So check out our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, which you're on right now. Just scroll through the channel and you can see some of the other episodes that we have coming up. We've posted some of them. And you can also binge watch hundreds of episodes, and they are all archived for all of you. So check them out, enjoy, and thanks for spending time with us once again right here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series. It's always something fresh, different. We're not the same old, same old. We don't call this an interview show. We call this conversations. This is a talk show with conversations and entertainment, poignant moments, and so much more. Those of you who are here all the time, you know what it's about. Those of you joining us for the first time, now you got a taste of some of the cool things we do here. This was what we call a double Lovity Day because we actually did 2 shows today, hundreds archived, but we actually did 2 shows only 2 hours apart today. So it's been a lot of talking. So maybe I won't be doing any talking for the rest of the night. I think I've talked myself out, but it's been beautiful because we've been sharing all the time and all the moments with you and you and you and you. Bringing back that Lost Art of Conversation, gang. Thanks for coming on the train with us, the Lovity train. And you can find me on all the socials, those crazy places, the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Jim Masters TV. And our YouTube channel is Jim Masters TV. Subscribe, like, and comment. All right. That's it. That is a wrap. Stay tuned. More great episodes coming up here on the Jim Masters Show live series. And we thank you. Be well. Blessings to you and yours from wherever you're watching all around the world, whether it's morning, noon, or night. You could always count on us to bring you the light. Oh, I like that. I just thought of that. Whether it's morning, noon, and night, we're always here to bring you the light. That's cool. Write that down. All right. We'll see you guys soon, gang. Thanks for being with us. Jim Masters here, your host. Thanking you for your time this time. Until next time, we'll see you again soon. Be well. I'm getting closer to you. Is that scary? Just having fun. It's 2:15 a.m., but a lot earlier because we start the show now at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So you got an extra hour to do whatever you want to do. Thank you very much, Maureen, Jim and dear Lovely family. Tight hugs coming at you. You as well. Really cool episode here with Shanda Tripp. Yeah. She was saying a lot of people, even in the beginning, when she and I were chatting off air, I was saying her name. Sometimes you want to put an R in it and say Sandra, Chandra. Sometimes she said people even called her Shannon, Santa. I can understand the Santa part because she's always giving. But yeah, she pronounces her name Shanda, like chandelier. She says, think chandelier, Shanda Tripp. But again, it's easy to add an R. I think she said what most people do is they add an R and they drop the H and it becomes like Sandra. Shanda is a beautiful name and she's a beautiful person. All right, gang. I might even have said the R a couple of times on the show. I don't know. I'll have to check. But it is Shanda. All right. You guys are the best. Thank you, everybody, for all the great comments and everybody still chatting in our JMS Lovity chat room. You guys are amazing. All right. Did you enjoy yourself? I certainly hope you did. That's what we aim to do. We aim to please. All right. We're taking off. Got a nice big, the size of this cup. Is that not big? That's huge. Inside is some tea with some lemon. I've been sort of nursing the voice a little bit. The allergies have been a little crazy of late. So we've got some tea with lemon. The tea is a little chilly now, but it's still nice with, not lemon. Did I say lemon? Honey. There's no lemon in this. There's honey. We actually have some Trader Joe's pumpkin spice tea. Been drinking a lot of tea lately. Tea and toast. Maybe it's the whole British thing. Maybe ever since Queen Elizabeth II passed, I'm into the tea and toast. Maybe as a tribute to the British heritage. There's honey in there, some nice organic honey, and in it is the pumpkin spice tea. I've been having a lot of that from Trader Joe's. It's really good. Not that Trader Joe's is not a sponsor. Matter of fact, we are looking for sponsors for our series. So if you know somebody that would like to be a sponsor of our series, you can contact us at gymmasterstv@gmail.com, gymmasterstv@gmail.com, or gymmastersmedia@gmail.com, gymmastersmedia@gmail.com, or gymmasterstv@gmail.com. If you would like to support our series, if you'd like to sponsor maybe an episode. Trader Joe's isn't a sponsor, though. I've mentioned them so many times over the years on our show. They should be. We've been consuming a lot of their product. The pumpkin spice tea that's out now is really, really good. So a little honey in there as well. So I toast all of you. Haven't done that in a while. Remember, we'd always toast. So I toast you and you and you and you. This is, whenever I do this, I do feel like I am in church on Sunday. And it blows out the lights when I do that. Yeah, the lights get bright when I do that. See, look at what happens to those lights. Boom. You see the light. That's like a glow. That's like it creates like a halo or something when we bring something big to the camera like that, something darker to the lighting. That's funny. A little behind the scenes there for you, huh? Tea toast. No, it's hot tea, but now it's become like ice. So we're going to heat it up a little bit. All right, gang. We always love chatting with you guys as well. So cheers. This is a little bonus. This is sort of like a little post-show chat we're having with you right now. And it's always fun doing that as well. All right. We're going to get out of Dodge here. And we thank you for being with us. We'll see you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle party talk show series. We're bringing back the Lost Art of Conversation for and with you. See you on the next one. Enjoy. Take care. Cheers.